Thanks for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure. How's your day so far?
It's good. I had to work, so it's been pretty good now. Yeah, it's been pretty good. Yeah, a good day at work. It was a good day. I teach 3D scanning and digital modeling classes, and when the technology works, it's a really rewarding day. So today was good. Everybody got to scan some fun stuff and make some fun stuff, and it was a good day. When it doesn't work, it becomes an issue. So
yeah. Awesome. Hey, Steven, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, Steven. Thank you. So thank you today for giving me a wonderful time. So guys, your album Visible Invisible is to be out on November 8th. So would you like to tell me a bit about the making of this album?
So that track, so it's actually an archive that we're reissuing after it remastered. And that was released actually right before Steven joined the band, actually. And it is a little bit more, or way more ambient than even some of the stuff around that time. And it was something that kind of like our first time in the studio. We've been kind of doing a lot of things live and recording things live from radio shows. So that was the first time we all went in the studio, or just André and myself in the studio. And it was something we actually did live. So on this release, it's kind of the studio version, and then the studio version reversed, and then a live version. And I believe it was that year that there was the Fripp and Eno No Pussyfooting reissue. And we thought it was really interesting because there were all these, like, I guess like when John Peel played a track, he played the tape in reverse, but they liked it and they kept that on the reissue. And we thought that was really interesting to do. It's actually something we've continued doing. We've kind of like always thought with some ambient tracks, like what if they were played in reverse instead of forwards? So it's an archival release. Yeah.
Wonderful. Is that the newest one you're talking about? The one that you just Archive 3 or right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the one that was used for the Genesis thing too? Or no?
Yeah, that's right. So it was an artist friend of ours at the time when Genesis Peorich from Thriving Gristle was alive. There was a video that he made of Genesis, and that song was on the soundtrack for this video. It's kind of very beautiful video of Genesis. And then we actually got to perform it live at the opening for this really interesting film thing the video debuted at. So we did like a live soundtrack of it while it was behind us. So it's a document, I think some of it it's hard to find. There's like a 3-inch CDR and like a cassette and like all these like hard to find things for fans. And with the new release with Profound Lore with Ghost Frontiers, I think we wanted to try and like echo some of the stuff that was happening on the newer release with this older release, like because we were returning back to some of those ideas.
Wonderful. And Visible Invisible, does it have a theme or an idea behind this particular song?
No problem. I think at the time, it's very, for me, it was maybe more sonic than say like an overarching theme. So on it, I'm playing predominantly harmonicas, which is not very metal, or can sound not so great. But I kind of like made them very ambient, these kind of ambient tones. And so I think that was kind of like the idea, was like using something that was like bright kind of like a contrast to a lot of other stuff we were doing that was pretty dark and pretty harsh, and just to try some different textures and challenge ourselves in a way. And we went back to it on New Catastrophism. That was definitely on Incomplete Map of Voids. We kind of start with this harmonica drone that I made, and then we start layering all these other tones with it, and it was kind of a nod back to this track in a way, like, you know, from many years ago. But yeah, it was more of a sonic theme than like a like another overarching theme. It was and an odd one for us. It was a weird one.
That's good. And back in August, you released New Catastrophism. So another great album from you guys. So it's wonderful. And would you like to tell me about the making and how it has reached so far? How does the fans react to this album so far?
Sure. Even you can go.
Oh yeah. Geez. For this one, we hadn't put out a record in obviously years. And we had these ideas that, because we were planning to go into the studio and record pre-pandemic. So the pandemic kind of stopped us from doing that, stopped people from doing everything, really.
Things, yeah.
So yeah. So we were just one of millions that you know. So we had these demo ideas that we had been passing back and forth. We had gotten together. I mean, I live in Chicago, and Terence lives in Baltimore. Yeah. André lives in I don't know where he was living at that time, but now he lives in upstate New York.
Yeah.
So we got together in Baltimore, rehearsed a few times. So we were kind of ready to go into the studio, and then so the pandemic happened, and that put things on hold and for a long time, you know, for a couple of years. And then we just had these ideas, and we thought it was right. The timing was right. So we went into the studio, and we had a few skeletons of ideas from the past, but we kind of went in more open-minded, and just created something that reflected back to, like Terence is saying, like the early years of Locrian. You know, before I was in the band, I was a fan of the band, but I was not in the band at the time. So I was obviously familiar, but so we just kind of started creating something there. There's a lot of it's improvised.
Yeah.
Kind of on the spot, really. We had not all of it, you know, some of, you know, we had some ideas and stuff, but we just went in, and I mean, it was quite an experience. It was something, it's very special.
Yeah.
To me, to us, that we were able to do this. And with everything that has happened in, you know, the past couple of years leading up to us recording, I think it kind of it's like a soundtrack for that. It's really like there's a lot of meaning in it for us. We've all been through a lot, and so yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I got. Terence, you want to go?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, like to piggyback off Steven, I think a lot of it is like kind of we wanted to make something for the old fans. The fans have been kind of asking, what's going on, guys? We, you know, like we were kind of thought some of them would appreciate it, and we wanted to do it and challenge ourselves to improvise a little bit and to kind of like make these moods. And you know, I think it's been, you know, for the fans that we made it for, it's been really awesome, like to kind of hear their enthusiasm and like the people that have really enjoyed this for a long time. So it's definitely, we hope it's benefits them and rewards them, because we really appreciate how much they care, obviously. But
the feedback has been great. You know, I'm like overwhelmed by like what, you know, because sorry to interrupt, Terence.
No, it's totally fine.
Just that that I feel like people were expecting like another like full blown like Locrian record, like full like drums, everything just like full blast, like song structure. And that's what we
Next one.
that's what we were working on actually, you know, before the pandemic. We had all these ideas.
We had riffs.
And we had riffs, we had parts and everything, you know, we were like ready. And so I think that we just took little bits from that and created as a little bit of a foundation for some of this stuff that's on the new record. This is like, you know, it's took it in a totally different direction. But the next record is definitely more of full blown record that is like full Locrian.
Lots of riffs and parts.
There's plenty of this. Yeah. But go ahead, Terence. I'm sorry.
No. I think you got it. I mean, it's exactly where we are. Yeah. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for asking that.
Wonderful, guys. Wonderful. And how are the touring plans going out for you guys?
None. I mean, I don't know. Literally, I think we kind of had a choice of recording this summer or touring, and we picked recording. It was just like we can't, like, with our lives, our jobs, it couldn't be both. We're not, you know, we're not Suffocation who can be on the road like all the time and just like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not us. And I think when it came down to making the creative choice of like playing stuff live or finally getting down these ideas we've been working on for years, I think recording kind of won out. So we'll see in the future, but I think at the moment it's I'm content. And I literally I was actually supposed to be on the Heracard of the Sky Ghost Bath show here in Baltimore. I was going to DJ that show, and it just got canceled. So I'm very skeptical of touring. I'm really wary of touring, and just like making those plans and those financial commitments at this time feels very like tentative, I guess.
Yeah. Not to say that. I mean, if the right situation came along, and you know, if it all worked for our schedules, I mean, I think we're all pro kind of like touring, and like we all like it. We enjoy it.
Yeah.
We like getting up on stage and playing in front of people and doing this thing that we've been doing for a very long time. But it's just like where we're at right now. I think it's just a little difficult for this band, you know, with everyone's schedules and everything. And we're all, you know, not to say that, I mean, there are so many bands out there that are in the same situation, but they can do it, you know. But you know, we're just scattered about, you know, so it's a little difficult. But you know, if something came up, for sure.
Yes.
I mean, for
We'd
sure.
love to.
Yeah, definitely. So,
and Locrian formed way back in 2005. So how has the journey been for you guys so far?
It's been, I can't even imagine sometimes, like, if you were to told me this band would still exist when André and I, without practicing, plugged in at the Mutiny in Chicago and made noise for 18 minutes or whatever, I would have been like, no way. But you know, I think it's been, I mean, we've gotten to do things I never thought. We've gotten to tour Europe. We've gotten to play Roadburn. We've gotten to play with some amazing bands, make records that I'm just like so proud of.
Collaborate with some incredible other musicians. I mean, it's like, you know, like heroes of ours, you know, like, so
like Christoph Eamon or Mamifer. I mean, and you know, it's been just like really rewarding. And the people kind of early on kind of understood, like, it's been a crazy road. You know, I think, you know, even with the kind of like downtime or whatnot, it's like we're always talking, and we have the three of us are like are friends and chat and like have a lot going on. And I think that it's like the relationships that we have with each other have also been really rewarding, just as three friends making music and trying to be creative. And I think like, you know, it's I guess in some ways it's also good because it makes you feel like for the future you don't have to really stress about those next steps. You know, you can kind of like we've been through a lot as a band and individuals, and you know we know what we can handle and stuff. So I think that I don't know, yeah, if you were to ask me that you know like 17 years ago or whatever, it's like, is that right? Yeah,
it's pretty impressive to like listen, like when I listened to like the early Locrian stuff, and then think of where we're at now, you know, like with the new record and then the record that's coming. It's really,
or even just the thing like
it's mind-boggling. It's crazy. Like, it's
like
really,
when Steven joined, we were in the middle of the studio. We were like in the middle of recording the Crystal World when Steven came in, or about to, or I guess like we're like on the edge of it. And like, you know, it was like, you know, I listened back to that record and I'm like, how did we not have Steven in this band before this? Like, it's just like, you know, like and the changes and like, you know, like not growing stagnant or stale, or like, you know, like improvising with other musicians that we have done, you know. So I think, yeah, it's kind of nuts.
We're pretty prolific back then too. I mean, you two were before I started playing with you. You guys are very prolific, and then even when I started playing, I mean, it still was going crazy. So we were like constantly doing stuff,
something,
like, like cool stuff. It was fun. It's still fun. It's still fun. Yeah.
Although it is, you know, I'm not a young man anymore, so it's like it's good to do one record in a year, and and you focus on that one. It's so like there are 8 cassettes and 3 8-tracks and a lathe and this you know, a live festival in a cave or something like that. It's like, why are you doing all this stuff to yourself? You know, like,
it gets a little crazy.
Amazing. And what will be some of the upcoming plans for Locrian?
Well, right now it's we have about half of our new record is tracked-ish. We're almost there, and we have a little bit more to record, a little bit more overdubs and things to add to that first half, and we have the second half to kind of wrap it up. And we're just really all of our energy is on conceptualizing that, demoing those ideas, like making lots of notes, and kind of getting ready to go back in the studio to finish up the new record. And then I guess figuring out how to do it all live.
Try to get back into the studio probably, I don't know, maybe January.
Probably
January because we were already in there once, and then in January, and then kind of finish recording, tracking stuff, and and then there's the whole mixing process, which will take a little while, and then so hopefully, if the stars align, there'll be a record, a new record. I hope next year.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Fingers crossed.
Record pressing is taking a long time, so maybe next year we'll see.
So, but it won't be as long as a wait as the last time. So
never again.
And Locrian is known for the musical experimentation that has been going through years and years now. So do you plan to go on a change in musical direction, which you are currently now?
It's changing a little bit with the new recording. Obviously from New Catastrophism and Ghost Frontiers was very like drone heavy, ambient, kind of longer form. I think these songs while still containing brief elements of those things, definitely has, it's it's definitely more metal. and and I think we're challenging ourselves. There's even parts that we're really excited about because we're diving deep into our influences, whether that's with death metal or thrash or whatever, but in a really unexpected ways. So it won't be straight, it'll be always kind of weird, but we're referencing certain things that we're very excited about, and as lifelong metalheads ourselves, kind of like, what if we did this way? And it's kind of fun because we can do it and it sounds really interesting, I think so.
I think, I mean, I'm pretty stoked by what I listen to now. But yeah, it definitely has like an 80s 90s thrash death metal it's peppered around, but it's still us, so there'll be some drawn out moments, but but it's got some stuff, it's got some pretty heavy shit in it too, so which is really cool. We're all just like, whoa, holy shit.
I mean, for us it's like we didn't know we could do it and we're excited it's happening.
Or just to hear us do it, it was like, wow, this is really cool. Like
amazing. So. And what would be some of the most memorable moments with Locrian?
Oh man, I mean, honestly, the first time we played Roadburn was a huge, just looking at this crowd, and we're the first band of the festival. And, that was pretty awesome.
That was for me, that was one of my highlights. It was, I mean, we've done some really fucking great shows, just like, wherever in the States or whatever. And there's been a lot of really crazy fun ones, but a highlight for me was definitely playing Roadburn and opening and just, so many people. It was just like, and they were, stoked. It seemed like they were stoked, and we were just like, holy crap, it was like
might have been one of our largest audiences we ever played in front of too. So I was like pretty.
And it was loud. It was fucking loud as shit. I mean, it was so.
They told us. I don't know if I believe that.
Our gear was scattering. On stage.
Our gear was moving. They told us we were the loudest band of the festival, of which Crowbar and Napalm Death were playing.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if I believe them, but the sound techs were laughing because they're like, "You're the first band, so no one's gonna come and tell us to turn it down. So you're the loudest band of Roadburn." And I was like, impossible. But maybe
Napalm Death were pretty loud though.
We were loud. It might have been too loud. That's a highlight. Recording with Greg Norman, recording with Jay Robbins. I mean, just these people that we've admired for so long. I mean, I used to listen to Jay Robbins' band Jawbox on my cassette tape on my way to high school, so stuff like that's been pretty awesome.
I mean, there's some like recording with Horseback, like collaborating with Jenks, that was great. Like one of the first times also when we played St. Vitus in New York was fucking a great show. Meeting
Godspeed You Black Emperor when they were recording Greg in Montreal, and we shut down the bar, hanging out with them. That was cool.
That was fun. That was a fun night. It was a good show.
I mean, there's this like amazing stuff. For sure. Big highlights.
Awesome. And finally, what would be the message that you want to give to your fans around the world?
Hang in there for the next record. It's coming. We're working on it. We're working hard, and thank you.
Thanks for listening and supporting us in any way. Like you've come to our shows in the past, or seen us live, or picked up a record, physical, digital, anything. Like that's a huge thanks. Like that's means a lot. So
definitely.
That's it. Just hang in there. hanging out. Hopefully
It's coming.
things will get
Coming.
better, and hopefully things get better. So yeah.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
Terence and Stephen, I want to thank you both so much for giving me today this wonderful opportunity to have you on this interview. A great pleasure. And thank you so much for giving us amazing music over the years. A real pleasure to listen to Locrian throughout the years, and looking for more music in the coming years. And thanks again. And I wish you guys all the best. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.